Hi, greetings. It's me, Dr. Paul Gerhardt. And today we're talking about inefficiencies or processes that need fixes in organizations. Most organizations are in business for the reason of creating products or services that delight customers. They're filling a special niche, and that's what makes them an organization that stays afloat. And there's lots of competition these days, and with competition, organizations need to consider price, and part of making sure that they provide the best value for organizations is making sure that they are looking at how efficient and effective they are. When customers are absolutely satisfied with the products or services, they tend to continue doing business with those organizations because they're not given a reason to look elsewhere to do business. They're satisfied with it. When they're not getting what they want when they want it, or they're given something that doesn't meet their expectation, that's when the problems start to occur. And we've all done business with organizations that we've probably left because they've treated us poorly, or we didn't get what we expected, or we wanted something differently and we didn't get it when we wanted it, or maybe we heard from a friend or family member that how dissatisfied they were, so we didn't even want to give that organization a try. Usually this happens because of systemic problems. Not everything is going to work well all the time, but every time something doesn't work right in an organization, that's time for managers to take a look at the situation a little closer and recognize that there are long-term consequences for inefficiencies or not being able to deliver a product or service to the expectations of customers. We can't please everybody all the time, but really focusing time and energies to identify where inefficiencies are can significantly enhance the bottom line and keep an organization more competitive. So, what are some inefficiencies that you've seen or witnessed in your career? Maybe in your workplaces, things that haven't worked right. I have had clients who have needed process improvement, and a lot of it came down to them having excellent ideas at the very top of the organization, and they just didn't involve, people at each level of the organization who had their hands on creating that product. And some of the systems didn't seem to work well, able to meet that particular expectation. So sometimes people would stress out to try to change things, but they didn't take a holistic approach at changing particular systems. Sometimes having a reward system in place for people to help point out inefficiencies and come up with solutions on how to make things even better. The best organizations, create a reward system for people who can document processes that they can see that can be fixed, and they can help come up with a solution. And the reward should be kind of substantial. The immediate return for making that fix doesn't have to equal what the reward is. For instance, if someone says, finds a way to fix something, and that fix, might cost, let's say, $2,000 to fix, and maybe in the longer run it's about bringing in another employee that does a certain function, so they're adding costs to that. But if you think about the lifespan of a business, those the people that are affected by that system fix actually might generate higher revenues and increases in bottom line over the longer run, just because they've made that investment. So immediate return on investment doesn't have to equal what the costs are associated with. So you have to really look at the investment as a long-term investment. Giving somebody $500 for a fix that might save the company $100 a year, in over five years, that could amount to a lot of satisfied customers who are getting what they need. And so the enhanced revenues, because you don't have customers looking to find products or services that you deliver at the competition, is really an important consideration, and you can't really measure that. Let's face it, most companies advertise to win back irritated customers. Sometimes obviously they do it to attract new customers, but if they didn't have to replace dissatisfied customers, they would have consistent revenues, and the satisfied customers would probably be telling friends and families, because they are opinion leaders in their circles, about how satisfied they are about their products or services. And granted, I use Tide and Colgate, for instance. I mean, I know I'm naming a couple brand names that I use in my household, but they've never given me any reason to buy any other product, because I always get what I want, and I rarely tell people, hey, you ought to really try Tide because it's awesome, or you got to try Colgate, it's just, look how clean my teeth are. And, yeah, I don't go about doing that. But if someone were to ask, I'd be happy to say, yeah, thanks for noticing my clothes are clean, or thanks for noticing my teeth are bright and shiny. Yeah, I love Colgate, or I love Tide, and so there's that opportunity for the power of word of mouth, because I'm a satisfied customer, and these companies have never done anything to do anything but give me the benefits of what they promise. So good organizations are always looking at inefficiencies and trying to find ways to fix it. Having a very clear organizational chart is really important. When companies are really, really big, sometimes the information from the people who are at the lower end, who are serving the customer base, don't really have an opportunity to be able to communicate what the inefficiencies are, and so they get lost, and people just deal with the inefficiency, and it's probably costing them time, money, satisfied customers, so revenues. And ultimately, if managers are always looking for opportunities to communicate upward or horizontally, depending on where the fix is for the product or service, then attention and energies can be spent on fixing those problems and creating systems that in the longer run help build the bottom line and the brand and image of the organization. So bottom line, what you look for is where you spend your energies. Where you spend your energies, that's where you get your results. And in the longer run, we have to be thinking about long-term consequences of putting a Band-Aid on things and risking having more irritated people that work for our companies or that are doing business with our companies that are leaving, versus keeping people satisfied, not frustrated, and not giving them a reason to look anyplace else, and telling others about their happiness when the opportunity arises. So, hey, simple business concepts, but it's all about really looking at how expensive inefficiencies are and looking intentionally for opportunities to fix inefficiencies, not with small band-aids, but from a systemic, holistic view. So, thanks so much for taking your time to view. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.